Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I just recorded something silly in the beginning, so I'm going to put it at the end of the video, giving you incentive to stay till the end. Anyway, this is a Q&A video. I don't even know if is it quick? No, it's probably not quick. It's never quick with me. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and let James Milne talk. James Milne is the artist helping me bring Dead Living, working title only, not the real title, helping me bring that to life in comic book form. That's not really life, but helping me bring that out. Anyway, he's kicking ass on the art and coloring, so he gave you guys an example of what the coloring will look like. It's kicking ass, and yes, I definitely believe now, after seeing it fully, that it will set itself apart 100%. 100%. So check that out. And also I inserted a little image to show you guys why the zombie looked like Tyrese. And it was something else. Yes, you know what? Another thing too. Huge thank you to everyone who's patiently and impatiently waiting. It's a process. It's definitely a process, and it's not just the fact that we're sitting around and going, you know what? Today I feel like working on this project. It's not that. It's everything else in life. We have to do all this stuff in life, and sometimes if it takes us 2, 3, 4 times as long to get something done, it's just out of our control. You got to pay the bills, right? But anyway, another thing I do want to say is today I finally put my foot down on an idea that's been bugging me for a while on how to promote this with a poster that's symbolic. Visually, it's symbolic. Nothing in the image is going to be in the comic because it's pretty out there. It's kind of something you would see on like a fantasy story or some shit like that. Similar to maybe Lord of the Rings or maybe even Game of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones-ish. But again, it's only symbolic, but it gave me chills thinking about it because the symbolism brings it right back down to the zombies. And I love that. So we got a lot more of these videos coming for Dead Living, and we are working every single day. I'm definitely in it for the long game, you know what I mean? I want to bring this story out fully. I don't care if it takes me 20, 30, 40, 50 years, little by little. Anyway, I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to put James on the mic. No, I'm not. I'm just going to switch over to his video. I like talking. What? I like chilling with you guys. Leave me alone. Stop hating. Everyone says, not everyone, just a couple motherfuckers say I ramble. It's like, I ramble? Fucking asshole.
Hey everybody, this is James from Dead Living / Make a Path Presents. I am doing the artwork for the comic, and I'm English, so that's a cool little bit of diversity for everybody. I'm going to answer a couple of questions that have been specific to me that a lot of people on various places like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube especially have all asked for the same answers. And I'm going to be answering the questions that you have. One of the main things that we really need to get off the bat, with no pun intended being a fucking Walking Dead fan, people are going to compare us to The Walking Dead. Like, no matter what we do, whether I draw it similar to The Walking Dead, which is kind of a compliment if people say that about me, but I don't see it as a straight, oh, I'm copying Charlie Adlard's artwork, because I'm me. I draw how I draw. I've learnt different ways to draw, and it's black and white inked based artwork, so it's going to look similar, but not really. I really don't know how to explain this without being too defensive about how my work looks like somebody else's, when artists all over take influences from other artists. And I'll put two comparisons here now. You have Charlie Adlard and then you have Sean Phillips, who are two of my main inspirations for drawing in a black and white style. They look similar, especially the early artwork of Charlie Adlard compared to Marvel Zombies, which Sean Phillips did and Robert Kirkman actually wrote before The Walking Dead. And Charlie Zombies were heavily inspired by that, by what I can see, and by what Charlie personally told me when I asked him a couple of questions when I met him. He didn't, or wasn't, a massive fan of zombies, and so he never really drew them. Sean Phillips' work probably got shown to him when Kirkman hired Charlie, or said, this is kind of what I'm after. And Charlie did it, and then as you can see, over the years, Charlie's artwork has refined itself. It's black and white artwork. It's gonna look similar. I could just show different artists who draw in a heavy black and white style, and they're gonna be quite similar. For example, one of the main books I used to learn how to draw, especially in a heavy black and white style, is Sean Martinborough's How to Draw Noir Comics. And he currently draws Thief of Thieves, which Kirkman also writes. And this is heavily black and white artwork because that's noir. That's I can't really explain it other than this is black and white artwork at its like best. Like, there are a lot of people who draw in this style, and because our zombie book is a horror book, just like The Walking Dead, it makes sense to me to draw heavily in black and white. Like, I do draw like in an animated style for like my own personal stuff, and when I was doing like fan art drawings, I wanted to make cartoon characters look a little bit more realistic, which I'll show Bob's Burgers there, and so on. So it's just a matter of opinion. And for those, obviously, who only read The Walking Dead, they're not really going to see what other art styles are like unless, like, they actively look for themselves. And then, like, the fundamentals of drawing, which is what everyone needs before they can, like, even start drawing a style. I used Perspective for Comic Book Artists, which is a good book teaching you perspective, for those who want to know. And the DC Guide to Drawing Comics Digitally, which is how I do my layouts and how I colour the book. And then there's a YouTuber called Jonathan Rector, Proco, and K. Michael Russell. And they are who I learned the majority of my artwork from. How to draw figures, comic book layouts, and colouring, respectively. Jonathan Rector's like one of my mentors. Like, he, especially with his videos, like really made it easier to understand how to draw. And then it's just a case of using what you've learned how to draw, apply, you know, a style that you like to draw in the most, and then just take it from there. Like Ronnie said in previous videos, like, you can tell me to change into a different style, and then you'll get people saying, oh, that looks similar to this guy. Because, like, if you take Ryan Otley and Tony Moore, who originally drew The Walking Dead, Ryan Otley draws Invincible, their styles are quite animated. Even that, it's like basis, they look similar. But obviously, how they lay out panels, how they tell stories, and what books they actually work on sets them apart. It's always going to be a problem with us just because we are doing a zombie book and The Walking Dead is so freaking high on the peak of zombie things. So it's just one of them things, like, if that turns you off from reading Dead Living, then really there's nothing we can do to change your mind. And we need to stress, like, our book is in colour. I've just finished like 2 pages, the first 2 pages in full colour, and I've converted them to black and white. Even in the black and white stage, they do not look like it's The Walking Dead. If anything, The Walking Dead doesn't really put much emphasis even on the black and white. It's just barely above white in its contrast or whatever. So when it comes to colour, that should grab the attention. And then when you're reading it, you're going to see that Ron has done things that is completely different to what you'd expect, because The Walking Dead is one thing and Dead Living is about others. You know, Walking Dead is more about surviving people. We're back bringing zombie things to its roots, being about survival. So there's a couple of questions here from Girl on Fire, who says, Ronnie, I'm starting to write a comic. It has nothing to do with zombies, but I'm curious about how you outsource the art. Can you do a video about this? Because I'm not the best artist. I'm actually taking classes. Which is why I'm doing this video response for Ronnie, because I can talk a little bit more on it. Really, like, it comes down to just getting out there. There are forums. The one I used to get comic book work in the early days was zwall.org. And then there's Digital Webbing and Penciljack. And there you can search or post an ad to get artists, colorists, letterers, anything to do with comic book, you can get someone for. So the way I met Ronnie is basically how you all kind of know Ronnie, and that's from his YouTube videos. At the time, I wasn't planning on doing any kind of comic book work because I do have a full-time job, and comic book work takes a long time, especially when there's just me and Ronnie. At the time, like, he was telling me that he's got an artist, or he's been interviewing artists for the project, because I was interested, like, in it just as a fan, and also, like, if there's any way I could be involved, whether it be like concept art or covers or whatever, then Ronnie would, like, just send me, you know, some ideas that he had without anything like being too official, while he had another artist. But then the artist that he had, he was dragging his feet apparently and was asking for money before doing the work, which, you know, it's kind of silly to ask for that when you're not even got your first issue out or, like, properly established. So while the artist was dragging his feet, I was just asking Ronnie, like, you know, is there anything I can do? Just because when I saw his Dead Living Facebook page, there wasn't really much imagery on there. There may have been a couple of fan pieces, I can't remember that far back now, but let me just do something. Like, I had some spare time, so I was doing cover concepts and just, like, quick designs of, like, the rider, which is now fully designed into what we see now. And it kind of just went from there. Like, I didn't plan to do the book because at the time, again, he had an artist already. And I was like, oh, I can just do covers then, like, if you want. You know, save time for the artist doing a cover while he's doing the issue, and I can do some of that stuff as well. So that's pretty much it. And then there was a time when I was just like, I don't really want to consume things anymore. I want to create them. I'm like 28 nearly now, so, you know, I'm at the age where I like to make things. And like, I've always been creative anyway, so doing comics is not really a stretch from what I've been doing for myself and for my full-time job. So in a nutshell, online is how we met, and being a fan helped. And again, like, Ronnie knows a lot about zombies. Like, I'm a fan of zombies, but Ronnie, you know, is the fucking higher echelon of, like, the zombie fucking genre. So basically, you're in good hands. Like, I wouldn't worry about it. I'm not worried about people, again, saying, oh, you look too similar or whatever, but at the end of the day, when we release the first issue, that's going to give you an idea of whether or not it truly is different. And obviously, being biased, it is kick-ass and it is different than The Walking Dead. Paul Milton says, will you be shipping to England? And Fevercrum also says, if it is available in the UK, will you get your artist to be a UK distribution centre so UK readers don't have to pay international shipping for each copy? Now, the bonus with me being a proud Englishman and living in England, this is something that's going to be entirely possible. It's going to save money on shipping if I have a bunch of issues here. And again, it makes sense to me. We need to work this out still, but I'll get some printed here, make sure the quality matches in America, or vice versa, and then ship it out from our respective countries. Main countries outside of the UK and America may have a little bit extra shipping cost on them. It depends how much it costs us to make before we can say how much the issue is going to be and how much delivery is going to be, because we won't truly know until we get it. Because again, with international shipping, it's based on weight. So especially when it comes to whenever we do a crowdfunding for the first issue, any kind of bonus things that you get with it is going to add to that weight and it's going to increase the cost. And so again, with these type of rewards, I need to work out with Ronnie, like, if we get stuff that's specifically going to go to the UK and in the EU while we're still in it, to get it all printed here, and then he does the same in America. But me being the artist, like, and using printers for my day job, I can comment on how, like, good the quality is of paper and that. So all I need to do is just send that specification over to Ronnie, and then we can work it out from there. And again, I'll just put this in there just for the art kind of stuff. Big Steve has put, Ronnie, stop worrying about if it looks too much like The Walking Dead or the zombies bite people just like Walking Dead. Who cares? Do your thing and don't worry about it so much. Again, I take note of it, of people saying that it looks similar, but it's not putting me off, and it's not going to make me draw in a different style, because again, someone else can just say, oh, well, that style's too similar to this guy or whatever. At the end of the day, I'm my own person. I draw how I draw. My hand is my own hand. I don't use Charlie's hand to draw. And even like the people that we put in the book, like, yeah, they may look similar because at its basis, you know, without trying to sound racial, like, to draw a African-American guy, he's going to probably have features that make it prominent that he's African-American compared to, you know, say a white person, like a slightly bigger nose, bigger ears, or different shape ears, or different eyes, you know, for Asian races or whatever. And so as an artist, you kind of just generalize. Try not to make it sound as bad as that, but if you're not using reference of someone and you're just using the main traits of a certain race, they're going to end up looking similar to another artist who does the same thing. With the zombie that looks like Morgan or Tyrese, like, I'll put two comparisons here. That wasn't my intention to make him look like it. My friend Eddie, who is an early supporter of Dead Living by getting a commission off me, you know, as a thank you to him and as a reward that we're going to be working on for when we do a crowdfund, is to have people be a zombie, like be the main zombie of that issue or whatever. He kind of looks like Tyrese. He has short black hair, he has short beard. There's nothing I can really do. I don't want to put his photograph on here because I don't know if he wants to be seen.
He said it was fine.
That's just how it is. Like, the way people draw people, it's pretty much similar unless it's like in a highly unique style, which again, sometimes that fails. Like, I'm trying to draw it as realistic as possible with obviously the other change of the zombies. And again, like, our zombies act different to The Walking Dead. Most of them will look different depending on how long they've been a zombie. So like, some may look similar to Charlie's zombies, but when it comes to colour, like, they're not going to have, like, glowy white eyes or anything. Like, I'm playing with some ideas of blood vessels, like, bursted or whatever, so they may have, like, red in them. You know, I don't like zombies with pupils, because that, you know, how do you show that it's a zombie from when they're in a distance compared to a person? And the easiest way is to either draw them with, like, full black eyes or full white eyes, and then obviously, you know, rotten flesh when they come closer to you. But that's artwork. There's nothing really else I can really say about it. So just be faithful that we're going to give you a book that is different to The Walking Dead. And again, with us being fans of The Walking Dead, we know where we can change it so it's not the same. This is Observant Jim saying peace out.
Subscribe now. Oh, you don't like the vape anymore? The vape's bad? You just... Please stop, Ronnie. Please stop with the vape. We had enough vape. It's too much vape. Vape Nation for life, homie.